Hey, good morning, friends. We are in storm prep down here in Florida and had a quick word of encouragement for you. So when we are talking about storms, we have storms that are literal, like this, that is on its way. Hurricane Ian is on its way. Waters are starting to fill up in the canals. The water levels are rising, so I'm out here putting up kayaks and paddleboards and stuff just to prepare for the storm. And we've known about it for a while, and that's the blessing of actual storms, is that you have a warning system. There's lots of things giving you the warnings of factors that are going into why they think the storm is forming, and then the actual proof of it. But here's the thing. We also experience storms in our life, emotional storms, and they can look a million different ways. And we don't always have the forecast that's giving you the heads up and the warning of, hey, this storm is coming. But actually, there might be warning flags. So I want to share with you some of the warning flags that a storm is brewing in real life. You can see we have become very overcast, right? We can see the consistency. The winds are consistently moving the trees and they're not pausing anymore. The waters are starting to rise in their levels. More sirens happening, if you can hear that. You see more of a top current happening, literally. So there are telltale signs. There are signs that there is a storm. To what degree, we don't know, is coming. And in our life, we can experience storms. And in our life, it might look something like overwhelm, loss, grief, anger, a sudden impact, a quickness of pivoting that you don't expect to pivot. Storms come, but there's always those little flags. And for me, it was always this stirring of anxiety and stirring up of not knowing what to do, feeling angst that something is coming and you're not really sure. You start feeling overwhelmed. You start over controlling. You can start seeing it. So whatever, even if it's in your finances, if it's in your body, mind, spirit, there are warning flags. And even in the spiritual, I remember back in the day when I was going through a very anxious season, I felt separated from God. Now, God never leaves us. He's a promise keeper, and He's faithful. He will never leave us and forsake us. However, we can feel distant from Him, and we can feel sometimes like our prayers are starting to hit the ceiling, bouncing off walls, echo chamber, like you all of a sudden feel this desert land or this valley experience. And these are all little warning flags of this little bit of what you could just call a storm or a crisis, that if you don't take heed to it and prepare for it, it's going to really cause a lot of damage. So body, mind, and spirit. So for me, my 2 tips for you are this. I've learned over the years, whenever I have these brewing storms, or sometimes they just, you get a funnel drop out of the sky. There's not a whole lot of prep time for that. There's not a lot of warning. You had a little bit of warning, but not a warning like a hurricane's coming in 5 days kind of warning. You have life crisis. You start not feeling well, and then all of a sudden you're in a major life crisis of illness. So it can come quick and it can take time, and there is more warning for it. So no matter whether your storm is a sudden crisis storm or you are feeling movement of change in your environment, here's the 2 things that have helped me. Now, there's a million things you can do, tons of things you can do. For me, it came down to 2 main things: pause and praise. So pause, meaning take a deep breath, get out your pen and paper, call a friend, get counseling. Whatever that pause is, the pause means you're going to take intentional action to reflect, analyze, think on, pray on, prepare, make a plan, figure out what is your next best step. Because if you don't pause and you just keep rushing through or ignoring or minimizing, then you can get yourself into more of a frenzy, if you will, and miss things in the preparation of your storm. A panicking mind, an anxious mind, an overwhelmed mind does not think clearly. It thinks more irrationally. It's the fight or flight or freeze. So taking a pause, a deep breath, take a second. It doesn't have to be a second. It doesn't have to be 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be an hour. It might just be that breath. It might be a whole day. Whatever is your storm's necessary preparation is what you need to do. We're not prepping the same as they are over in Cuba. We're not prepping the same as they are up north in Tampa, because my storm that I'm expecting and experiencing is not going to be the same storm. So for us emotionally, body, mind, and spirit, our storms are going to look different. So our prep work is going to be different. That's why I say this in general terms. Whatever it is that you need to do, whatever your pause, you know what you need to do in that pause, to take a breath and pause. So pause is the first one. The second one is praise. And what I mean praise, get your Jesus on, get your worship on. Praise releases the endorphins, praise. But really, praise is not about hype. Hype and praise are not the same thing. Praise is finding the good in. It's the hopefulness. It's the positive mindset. It's the positive hopes. It's the not downcast my soul. It's be still my soul. Lord, I trust you. I'm seeking you. I'm knocking. I'm asking. And it is looking for counting your blessings. It's putting the Philippians 4:8, your mindset of thinking of what is excellent and what is praiseworthy and what is necessary and what's excellent and what is beneficial. So when we stop, two things. Pause gives us time to breathe and to regulate our whole body, mind, and spirit, and make a plan of what is our next best step. What do we need to do for preparation? The second one is praise. Putting the mindset toward hope, towards faith, towards joy, towards the things that we can do, the possibilities and options that are available to us, because otherwise, if you don't pause and you're in that anxious mind, you don't see hope. In fear and in anxiety, overwhelm, you're not thinking clearly, therefore you're also not thinking positively. In your negativity, you're going to think about all the what ifs, because that's what anxiety is. Anxiety is like, oh my goodness, water's going to get in the house, we're going to flood, I'm going to die. I mean, all these cancel. All these things of what if could happen is where we are rooting ourselves in fear, because we haven't taken time to pause and praise. When we pause and we praise, I'm thinking today as literally a storm is working its way towards our state. I'm not thinking of, oh my goodness, and freak out. I'm thinking, okay, what do I need to do to prepare to handle the storm the best of my ability with what I have, where I'm at today, now. So I'm pulling up stuff out of the yard. I'm getting stuff that doesn't have to be refrigerated for us to eat. I'm watching and stocking all of the water that I need, and peanut butter and protein bars and protein mixes, and just what do I need? I'm washing all of our laundry, because what if we do lose power for a week? If I lose power for a week, I'm going to need me some clean clothes, right? I'm going to wash all the towels. I'm just going to prepare to the best of my ability with what I have today, now. And then if something changes and there's a pivot and we have to really dig in deeper, then I will be able to pause, reanalyze, and revisit my situation of my storm, proverbial storm, and make adjustments as necessary. That's why we pause and we praise. And when we're praising, we're looking for those pauses of how do we prepare. It's preparing with the pause and the praise. So body, mind, spirit, whatever that looks like for you, it's just a great reminder with literally the storm looming, how we really do face a lot of storms, body, mind, and spirit within us, and how we can prepare for them. Now, not always, but this is why I think it's important, even with the crises that come up suddenly, is to prepare our hearts and minds and souls ahead of time, would be staying in communication with God, pray without ceasing. It's choosing every day to seek first. It's choosing every day to look for the good. It's choosing every day to live a life of worship and intentionality to honor God, serve God, and love others. When that is my preparation for life, which is worship, it's pausing, it's praising, it's intentionality to be prepared for anything that then happens. So that's your prep work, even before the storm. Before the storm is hitting, I'm already preparing. Now I'm starting to see the warning signs that there actually is a storm coming. Now I take the next steps. What do I now need to do? I've always got water. I've always got vitamins. I've always got stuff situated. I'm always in prayer. I'm always intentionally seeking and pausing and praising and choosing body, mind, and spirit to be aware and in communication and relationship with Him, listening, always listening, so that when the warning signs come, the trees start blowing, the water current starts picking up, and you feel the atmosphere changing, you've paused and you're ready to praise in that preparation to endure the storm. Most of the time, I'm going to say 99.99999 of the time, you cannot stop a storm. So this is not about avoiding a storm, although maybe some things in life you can. Most of the time, crisis and storm come, it is not in your control. So this is where we are surrendering, we're pausing, we're praising, we're prepping the best that we can, so that when the storm comes, we trust and know that His provisions are already done. We've done what we can, and we're trusting God with the rest to carry us through it, around it, and always above it. But we can't stop the storm. So just imagine His hand reaching out to you, telling you, I've got you. The footprints on the sand, is an oldie but a goodie of Him carrying you. The one, I look back and there's a set of footprints in the sand. That was when God was carrying you. Visualize these things as you are facing your storm. And for all my friends that are here in Florida, bless you, praying for you as well. We're praying that the waters will stay low, that the surge for all of us will remain low. So remember that you are more than conqueror in Christ, and remember that all things are possible. But my main thing is for you to feel empowered, that you are not helpless pre-storm, during the storm, post-storm. You are not helpless. There are things that you can actively do to prepare, and also to be able to praise and have peace in your storm. So peace, be still. You are seen, you are loved, you are heard, you are not forsaken, you are not alone. And more powerful than the storm is the one who created the storm. He controls the winds, He controls the waters. He's got you. All right, friends. Mwah. Have a blessed day.